Have you ever felt like your mind just has a mind of its own? I mean, you sit down to get something done and bam, suddenly you're thinking about what to have for dinner, replaying some random conversation from last week, and scrolling on your phone all at the same time. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you're definitely not alone. So today, we're going to dive into this amazing story about how to tame that inner chaos and unlock what is truly the superpower of focus. So let me ask you this. Does your mind ever feel like a wild horse, just galloping from one thought to the next? You try to steer it one way, but it just wants to veer off and do its own thing? Well, that's the exact challenge we're going to tackle. And it all starts with this young boy named Kabir. So, meet Kabir. He's a really smart kid, no doubt about it, but his focus is, well, it's all over the place. He'll sit down to do his homework, and literally 5 minutes later, he's off in a daydream about video games or wondering what his friends are up to. I mean, sound familiar at all? Now, his father saw this struggle, and he gave Kabir a piece of advice that would pretty much change everything. He told him, "Son, your mind is like a wild horse. If you do not control it, it will take you in the wrong direction." And that one single metaphor, that's the key to this whole story. All right, so what exactly is this wild horse mind? Let's break it down, because this is where Kabir's journey, and hey, maybe our own, really gets started. You know, Kabir heard the words, but they didn't really land. It was kind of in one ear and out the other. He was still just being pulled around by his wandering thoughts. So his father decided it was time for a whole new approach and took him to see a wise teacher, a Guruji, who had let's just say, a very unique way of teaching. Okay, and this is where things get really interesting. See, the Guruji doesn't sit Kabir down for a long, boring lecture. Nope. Instead, he gives him a simple, hands-on test, one that would end up changing Kabir's life forever. So the task seems simple enough, right? Take this glass of water, walk through my garden, and come back without spilling a single drop. Easy. But here's the thing. This was never a test of balance. Oh no, it was a test of something way, way deeper. It was a test of focus. So just picture Kabir walking. He's trying so hard to concentrate on that glass, but the world is just full of distractions. You've got birds chirping, leaves rustling in the wind, the sound of other kids laughing and playing nearby. Every single one of those sounds is like a little tug on his attention, pulling him away from his one and only goal. And here we go, the results. With every little distraction, a little more water sloshed over the side. By the time he got back to the Guruji, the glass was half empty. The consequence of his divided attention was, well, crystal clear. And this is the big aha moment. The Guruji explains the metaphor. The glass is your goal. The water inside, that's your focus. Every time you let yourself get distracted, you're spilling a little bit of that precious focus. And for the first time, it all just clicked for Kabir. So Kabir finally understands the problem. But knowing the problem is one thing. How do you actually fix it? Well, that brings us to the next chapter, turning this powerful lesson into a daily practice. And here's what's so incredible. The solution wasn't some grand, complicated plan. It was just a series of small, totally doable habits. Waking up at the same time, putting the phone away, really giving his full attention to one thing at a time, and taking just a few minutes for meditation each morning. I mean, these are things anyone can do. Now, let's be real. This wasn't some magic fix. It was hard at first. His mind still wandered, because that's what minds do. But now he had a new tool. Every single time his thoughts drifted away, he would just gently pull them back. And that's the real work of training your focus. It's not about never getting distracted. It's about getting better and faster at coming back. And as you can see here, real change is a marathon, not a sprint. For the first few days, it probably felt like nothing was even happening. But after a few weeks, he started to actually feel a change. His memory got better, his grades started to improve, and after a whole year of this consistent practice, he was ready for a challenge that would put all his new skills to the ultimate test. So, after a year of training, Kabir had finally tamed his wild horse mind. But the real question was, what could this new disciplined mind actually do? Well, it was time to find out. So picture this, a huge, high-stakes national competition. The challenge? Solving incredibly complex problems against a ticking clock. This was the ultimate pressure cooker, really the perfect place to see if all that training had actually paid off. And just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got all these brilliant students just panicking under the pressure, their focus completely shattered by the stress. And then you've got Kabir, totally calm, centered, and just completely locked in. So what was his secret weapon? It was that simple lesson from the Guruji. He treated each question like it was that glass of water. He gave it his complete, undivided attention, solved it, and only then did he move on to the next. He wasn't spilling a single drop of his focus. And the result of that incredible focus? He won. Number one. He didn't just beat the other students. He beat his own wandering mind. And this right here, this is the core lesson of the entire story. Talent is great, of course. Luck is nice. Intelligence is super important. But a disciplined mind, that's a true superpower. It is the one thing that unlocks all of your potential. You know, Kabir's story proves that focus isn't some gift you're born with. It's a skill. It's a muscle. It's a superpower that any of us can develop with practice. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. What's your first step? What's one small thing you can do today to start training your own mind?